Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Land of Fantasy series. I am, of course, Jack the Panda, and we are here in the lovely farming area we built up last episode, because I've done very minor progress that I gotta catch you up with. First off, we have this ring, which is where, not this episode, but in the near future, I am planning on having a lovely windmill. Something to look out over the fields of the Land of Fantasy and just inanimmately and not spin, but look beautiful anyway. And talking of the fields of the Land of Fantasy, we have a few additions. I did send out a picture that I had filled in this one with some custom, I kind of see it as like cotton or something like that, but it's just peonies and lilacs, I believe. And then I added another field down here for melons, because I forgot melons last time. I was very upset when I realized that I'd built all these farms up and didn't have a melon, so I quickly added this one down the bottom here, just to make sure that everything in the market is available from the farms, because that's the sort of details I care about. And then of course extended the pathway up to the soon-to-be windmill, or just a circle on the hill, as that more accurately describes what it is. Anyway, we've got a few added in trees, I believe, one over there, one here, just to keep the foliage of the place up. Ooh, and there's these armor stands here, I forgot about these things. Put out a little Reddit post, did alright. This guy specifically, very cool, look at this. It's 3 armor stands. One is invisible holding the hoe at an angle. One is invisible holding the stick. It took me so long to line those up so that actually worked, and even now it still bugs me that there's a slight gap there. I couldn't ever get it perfect, but this is damn near close. And then of course the third armor stand is just this guy with the Vindicator head, kind of posed, pretending like he's holding it, shearing out this wheat. And then here's his buddy rolling up the hay bales. And they're the guys that have been doing all that work up here. Look, they did that whole field here. Now they're moving on to this field here. There was an evoker over here. I had picking at some of the cotton, and it's falling down. Picking up some of the flowers or the cotton in his wheelbarrow here. And then there was one more I had in the beetroot or turnips. I don't actually know what they are. I think they're beetroots actually. There he is. I tried to get him kneeling down, but kneeling down is a hard pose to do when armor stands don't have knee joints. So he's more lying-y down with his torso up. It's probably a very hard position to recreate for an actual human, but it's the closest I could get to kneeling down, and he's just looking like he's planting them there. He's got his own wheelbarrow. Oh, and I added the scarecrows as well, because obviously you have to have scarecrows. Anyway, moving on from scarecrows, we've got a slight issue. And the issue is I'm torn between what I want to do. Part of me, I've got this great vision for how the farms can expand. We're going to have beautiful rivers, beautiful scenery, the windmill, all these other houses. It's going to be grand. And while that is exciting, another exciting proposition is this castle here, which I've got the foundation on, and I really want to start this, probably more, but at the same time I'm more worried to start the castle, because, I don't know, I feel like this is pressure, this is a big build, I don't want to get wrong. So, part of me thinks, hey, you know what, you don't want to do the castle, fine, we'll leave that, we'll go over here, we'll make a river, or we'll spend all our time on the castle, and I think the best move is to just work on both, simply. So, I can do the river here, but then I'll stop after the river, I won't go too much further with it. And then we can do some work on the castle. And we'll probably alternate that for a bit, honestly, as the castle slowly gets built up through half episodes. And then this farmland slowly expands, and then we create, my plans for that area there, and all sorts of fun little builds in this whole section here, just rounding out the build. And of course, whatever's going here, which is this weird spot in between all three of these big bits that I haven't quite decided on. So, what do I want to start with? I think, considering the second part of my episode usually gets more time dedicated to it, I usually have the Saturday and the Sunday. The Sunday usually is a bit more work. I think we'll start with the river, and then we'll move on to doing some towers in the castle. Sounds good to me. So, looks like I need to go ahead, grab some sand, dirt, all sorts of stuff like that. And some water, well, probably. And I think we'll start up here and see if we can get like a source. Oh, that's what you need. So the rivers flow from low to high into the ocean or a lake. So we've got an ocean over there. You might just be able to see it. There's like 3 pixels of blue. That might be quite an ambitiously long river. But either way, it needs to start somewhere. And I think probably here is good. Let's see if we can get a river source then. Okay, so it turns out the source of the river is a really hard thing to work out, but what I have managed to do is do the main part of the river, which is arguably much more important. So I've dug out this little trench area here and marked out the sides with stone. Runs all the way down here in this nice looking curve, just passing by the farms, kind of moves to the side a bit here, and then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you could continue this? We can continue this path downwards, go right around the melon farm, and maybe here we have a little bridge over the river to a new area of the area here. That's words. I'm not really sure where to go from here with the river, mind you. I'm kind of tempted, maybe we can put it over here, maybe make a man-made lake. Or if I'm really feeling ambitious, we can move all the way down here. And we do have the ocean and a kind of weird river thing going here that we can try to connect to. But I think before I do either of that, I'm going to make sure that this river here is looking good. And then we can continue on. So I guess I need to dig out the inside of this and start filling it with water, and then we can really start getting those details in. Alright, let's do that first. That's the trench deepened. I am trying to keep it as geographically accurate as possible. I have literally gone out of my way to look up the formation of rivers, which is something I have to do in school and didn't care about, but for some reason, now I need that information. So maybe I should have listened, but I'm not going to take away the detail from Minecraft in favor of geographically making my river more accurate. Anyway, let's actually put some water in this thing and probably gravel up the underside of it. I've had a go at detailing it. Trust me, it will look good in the end. It might look a bit weird now. I will work on this, but we do need to get the water in, otherwise we don't have much of a river. That's all the water filled in, and now all we have to do is go around the place like I have been here, filling it with a bit of vegetation. A few more trees, a few bushes, berries, all sorts. We've also got this slide wall that I built up here because it was at an inconsistent height, and I thought, hey, we can have a little wall here. We'll have a little pathway after you cross the river where you can walk alongside the river for a bit and appreciate the beautiful vegetation, which I need to go put in there. So let's grab some grass and just go bloop, like that, a lot. And there you have it. All the vegetation and detail work is now in place for our river, and I must say, I'm so glad Update Aquatic came out, because ever since, these rivers have always looked so much nicer. Kelp and seagrass just make it so much more interesting, as well as the sugarcane, berries, and all sorts of standing detail we've got going around the outside of the river. I even extended it a tiny bit down here. That's how in the mood I was. But it took quite some time. I mean, I forgot quite how long doing all this detail work actually takes. It's quite a fine art, and the issue is there's so many different blocks involved. It takes like 3 different inventories to get everything out. So I've got to have one inventory for gravels, puzzles, dirts, all the things in here, the kelp, seagrass, shears, bone meal. Then I need one for leaves, like 3 stacks of leaves, spruce logs. It's a lot of work, but we've got it all the way up until here now. However, also, hang on, side note. I was looking into how rivers form and, how they get up to be this wide. And, I don't think we've got enough room up this hill to do a proper source of a river. You kind of need, to make it official, all these like tributaries, a lot of the words in my research are hard to pronounce. There's also, you can do it with a glacier, I believe. And I know what that is, but I've never been self-conscious about how I pronounced that word before. Glacier. I didn't realize there were so many different ways to say it, and now my brain is confused. But the one that I quite like the sound of is this underground river that kind of goes into a cave mouth. Considering we have a cave right here, and we can dig into the hill a bit, we could actually make the river go into a cave, and apparently inside caves is an easy way for big rivers like this to form. So that sounds good to me. It'll look cool. I haven't got to worry about doing that source like I originally thought I did, and it's geographically accurate to the extent of 15 minutes of research online. But that's probably better than most people do their rivers in Minecraft, because I'm dedicated to the details. However, we're not going to do any of that now, because I've been itching to start work on these towers and walls, and that river did take up quite a lot of time, so it is time for me to move on. Let's grab some blackstone and start with some tower designs, and when I get one I like, we'll jump into a time lapse and we'll build the whole 6 of them up. Alright, blackstone time. That's the wrong chest. So the plan for these towers is, because we have quite a large base, if you didn't really realize, this is quite a big area for a tower. The plan is we can build in slowly and not have to have that much height per layer, because you've got a lot of width to work with, if that makes sense. So we can have a lot of depth while keeping it nice and tall. So the bottom layer is only going to be this small kind of rim of blackstone before we move into the other types. And I did say I was going to go for a little gradient effect. So obviously the center is going to be these bricks, which I haven't got many of unless they're cracked. And then we kind of build up the other way, and we're going to keep them nice and square, nice and tall. So let's see if I can get onto the second layer, and maybe even the third layer as well while we're here. I'm not even sure what block's going to be for what layer yet either. What do you guys think of that? I know you can't respond to that, but just take a think about what you think about this tower. It's quite a lot of blackstone, isn't it? I didn't quite realize how... Obviously, I knew I was only building with blackstone, and I kind of knew that would make it black, but I think that might be excessive. Maybe if I put some windows in there, that might fix it up. But I think in terms of shape and size, that's a pretty good start. I reckon I could build up the other 5 of those, and then we could mess around with making that look a... Maybe I should have changed something first. Either way, we've got an issue, and that issue is that I did not correctly calculate how much blackstone this is going to need. Look at this. We're almost out. I mean, this double chest was full. Right, firstly, it was my fault because I forgot that, or I didn't take into account the farms are obviously going to use quite a lot of blackstone. That's quite a lot of blackstone for those walls there. But even then, one tower is way more blackstone than I thought it would be. It is crazy. It's definitely intimidating, mind you. So I definitely got that bit right. I'm just trying to think if there's a way to design it that reduces the amount of blackstone in it, which is a win-win. I get more blackstone back. I have to use less blackstone for the other towers, and it looks a bit better, I guess. I know black blocks are a bit of a hard one in this game. It's blackstone or it's not many other choices. I'm gonna experiment, especially with that middle bit. I think maybe the middle bit's the only issue, actually. Let me just go take another long look from afar. Head up onto these market stalls. Maybe we'll just head around here. Is it just the middle bit? I reckon it's just the middle bit. I reckon. I get some windows in there, and I detail the windows up with a few, maybe some nether brick, stone brick. That's alright. I reckon that's acceptable. Which means that we are going to have to use a lot of blackstone. So, I might need to take a detour to the nether bastion. Again, the second one. Because the first one's already been destroyed. Well, yeah, let's do that, and then we can get into that time lapse I promised you. Which, honestly, is looking less and less likely the more I realise how much blackstone I need. Well, let's go get some first. And good news, I found a part of the bastion, or part of the first bastion, should I say, that I hadn't demolished yet. It's a bit off to the side, surrounded in a lava lake, but apparently I missed it on my first run through here, so we got a lot more blackstone that we can get quite easily. Maybe the time lapse is back on. Blackstone mined, pickaxe repaired. Now we can finally get into building up these other towers. I don't know if that's enough for the other 5, but I will get back to you when I'm out of blackstone or all other 5 are built. Alright, let's get into that time lapse then. And that, my friends, is almost every single piece of... Hang on, how does this go again? I've forgotten how I build now. Almost every single bit of blackstone I own. After the massive dig I only did, it feels like 10 minutes ago I dug up that bastion, and now I'm dead out again. Well, I have maybe just enough to finish this 4th tower, but definitely not enough to do a 5th or anything in between these towers, like any walls or anything like that, which is all stuff I had planned to do. But I mean, my plan was to do all 6 towers plus the walls in between them. I thought, yeah, that's a completely reasonable goal for this episode. Plus, obviously, the river down there looking beautiful, because then I could at least rhyme it with ramparts. Now, I might be stretching the term ramparts here. I didn't look it up officially, but I think 4 towers is good enough to fall under the category of ramparts. Because if not, I can't think of any other alliteration. And if I can't alliterate my episode, it's not going out. Simple as that. And yes, I know, before anyone pointed out, this tower is 2 taller than all of the others, or at least these 2. That was not intended, but I'm working with it. This one is also being built up to be the same height as that one. Originally I wanted them all to be the same height. I just miscounted how many things of 2 I was doing for the stone brick part. But I guess, hang on, where do you go here from here? I guess I can work with that. I mean, it could be quite cool. It's not bad. They kind of overlook each other now. Maybe I can, maybe I could even go another one up on the back there to kind of have a layered effect. Either way, I can't do either of those two because we're all out of blackstone. And as much as I would love to continue building up Tower 4, 5 and 6, and maybe even get some walls going on between them, number one, we're a bit low on time, and two, I am really not in the mood to go and destroy any more bastions. I mean, it was not that long ago that it was like a good hour I was mining blackstone, and that was not that long ago, and yet here we are, fresh out again, other than the 41 in my inventory, and the few bricks, and way more wool than I needed. I accidentally overestimated how much wool I was going to make. However, that's not a bad sign, right? We may be out of blackstone, but the blackstone we have has been used grandly. I mean, I'm standing in this kind of middle area here, even though from my vision of the castle, you're never going to be able to see the towers from inside. That is quite the imposing look. They are some impressive towers. I bet if I kind of went down here even, they'd be kind of scary to look at. Let me just see if I can find some cool angles to look at these things in. I'm going to head over to the smithing district, maybe down in the clearing, just to take a look at how this is going on. Let's go look down here. Ooh, yeah, that's so cool. Imagine walking up this pathway here, right? You're just like, ooh, yeah, I'm going to go to this unnamed town. Let's walk up here. What is that? What is that? The imposing castle. That. It kind of appears as you move in from the smithing district. Maybe you're just leaving the tavern. I hope this is a good one. Watch this. You're just leaving the tavern, you're thinking, man, I sure hope there's nothing ominous. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Huge castle. Maybe you're over here, in the markets, by the church. Let's head over there. And you're thinking, hey, time for a good day's shopping. I sure hope there's nothing looming next to me, dark and scary. And then you look up. Whoa. Giant castle. I thought, honestly, it would look weirder, but from those angles, I like it. I like how that looks. Kind of big and imposing. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be very, very intimidating. Now, I will, as I said, landscape around it again. We've got this huge flat area there. I'll probably do that when the wall's in place. And I wanted to almost do like a crimson, like the Crimson Canyon type of terrain, but like a flat version of it on that hill there. Oh yeah, I like this as well. Look at that. That is one mean castle. However, we cannot continue any more work on the castle this episode, so thank you all for watching. I am extremely looking forward to getting more progress built in this castle, but we can't do that now. Unfortunately, that's what we've got time for today. So, like I said, thank you for watching. I've been Jack the Panda. I will see you all next week. Goodbye.